Hello everyone, my name is McKenna Petty. Today I will be explaining the Ell Strategies 19 and 20, verb action and syntax surgery. These strategies are from the Teaching English Language Learners, and our goal is to give ELL students tools to improve grammar, sentence structure, and overall language use. Why these strategies matter: ELL students often struggle with grammar rules, irregular verbs, and English sentence structures. Memorizing alone is often ineffective. Students need strategies that connect meaning, form, and usage. With these strategies, 19 and 20, they engage multiple modalities, including movement, visual, auditory, and linguistic. Combining these modalities helps students internalize language faster. These strategies also support both comprehension and production of English. They're also flexible for different ages and English proficiency levels. For our first strategy 19 on verb action. Verb action pairs verbs, mostly irregular ones, with a physical gesture to make meaning memorable. Students hear, say, act out, and eventually write the verbs, connecting movement to language. This method strengthens memory and helps students recognize patterns that don't follow regular rules. Why this is effective: it engages multiple senses like see, hear, move, and speak, which ultimately enhances retention, helping students internalize difficult forms without relying solely on memorization itself. It helps build confidence because students can act the verbs even if they are not yet confident in speaking. For classroom implementation, an example activity, you can select 5 to 7 irregular verbs. For example, went, ate, eat, run, ran. Assign a gesture for each verb. So you're gonna mimic eating or running in place for run. You're gonna model the action and say the verb in present and past tense. Students repeat in pairs or small groups the gesture and then plus the verb form, and then later on students will write sentences using those verbs and perform a verb charade game to reinforce their learning. Some tips for scaffolding: start with fewer verbs for beginners, pair gestures with visuals or flashcards, and gradually increase verbs in complexity as students gain confidence. Repetition over several days helps verbs move into the long-term memory, and student engagement, the movement element, makes learning more active and fun. Strategy 20, syntax surgery. Syntax surgery involves breaking sentences into parts, phrases, or clauses so students can see how words fit together. Students manipulate sentence strips or cards to form correct or new sentences. It helps students understand word order, grammar rules, and sentence patterns, especially when English syntax differs from their first language. This is effective because it makes abstract grammar concrete, it encourages problem solving and critical thinking, and it supports writing, reading comprehension, and speaking skills altogether. It works well for visual and tactile learners, and it allows students to see relationships between subject, verb, objects, and modifiers. A classroom implementation for an activity, you can choose a model sentence. For example, the children will play soccer tomorrow, and you're going to write each chunk on a separate card, so subject, verb, object, time. And then students will rearrange cards to create new sentences. So for example, tomorrow the children will play soccer, or the children will play soccer at school tomorrow. You're going to discuss how a word changes meaning, and you're going to transition students to writing. They'll expand or modify sentences independently. Some tips for scaffolding. Beginners, they'll start with short, simple sentences, color code sentence elements, subjects, verbs, objects, time phrases, and then you can work in guided groups before independent practice. Student for discussion and reasoning students, explain why certain arrangements work, and you're going to reinforce grammar rules with encouraging creativity. Using both strategies together, use verb action first to teach irregular verbs. Then you're going to integrate those verbs into syntax surgery activities for sentence building. Encouraging repeated practice over multiple days for mastery, and providing scaffolds like gestures, visuals, and peer modeling throughout. Combining the strategies allows students to connect verb knowledge with sentence formations. It also helps support both receptive and productive language skills, and then it also builds engagement, confidence, and a deeper understanding for English grammar. For summary and takeaways, verb action, it connects verbs with gestures, helping students internalize irregular forms. Syntax surgery, it breaks sentences into manageable parts, giving students control over syntax. Both strategies support comprehension, production, and confidence in ELL learners, and the key is to scaffold gradually, use multiple modalities, provide repeated practice, and create a supportive environment. These strategies are versatile and can be adapted to any grade level. It also helps encourage teachers to make grammar interactive and meaningful rather than abstract. Thank you guys. We'll go on to the next part.